There's only one reliable sign someone is actually rich, and it's not what they drive, where, or where they live. It's this. They've stopped optimizing. Not because they're wasteful, because the return on optimization dropped below the effort it requires. Let me explain what I mean, because this changes everything. What rich actually means. First, let's define rich. I'm not talking about billionaires or celebrities. I'm talking about people with $2 million to $5 million in investable assets who don't have to work anymore. Your neighbor who retired at 47. The guy at the gym who owns 4 rental properties and works 10 hours a week. The woman driving a 2014 Camry who hasn't had a job in 8 years. Normal people who hit financial independence. And they all have one thing in common. They stopped optimizing. The optimization spectrum. Here's how optimization works at different wealth levels. Poor people optimize everything. They compare prices at 3 grocery stores. They drive across town to save $5 on gas. They spend 40 minutes researching which credit card gives 0.5% more cash back. Not because they're cheap, because every dollar actually matters. The ROI on that optimization is real. Saving $20 on groceries is worth the 30-minute drive when you're living on $2,500 a month. Middle-class people optimize strategically. They don't compare grocery stores, but they absolutely optimize the big stuff. They research the best mortgage rate for weeks. They hunt for the cheapest flight for a vacation. They max out tax-advantaged accounts and rebalance quarterly. Because big optimizations still have meaningful ROI. Saving $15,000 on a mortgage over 5 years is worth the research time. Rich people have stopped optimizing almost everything. They don't compare mortgage rates. They don't hunt for deals. They don't track spending. They don't rebalance portfolios. And this looks wasteful to everyone else. But it's not. It's the most rational thing they do. Why rich people stop optimizing. Here's the mechanism most people miss. When you have $3 million invested at a 4% safe withdrawal rate, you're making $120,000 a year doing nothing. That's $330 per day, every day, including weekends. Now let's say you spend 2 hours comparing mortgage rates to save $1,200 a year. You just traded 2 hours of your time for $1,200. That's $600 per hour, which sounds great. Except you're already making $330 per day passively. And those 2 hours? You could have spent them doing literally anything else. Reading, walking, sitting, thinking, nothing. The opportunity cost of optimizing became higher than the benefit. That's when you stop. Not because you have so much money you don't care, because your time became more valuable than the savings. What this looks like. Here's how you spot it. They pay full price without thinking. Not for everything, but for small to medium purchases, there's no negotiation. $8 coffee? Fine. $200 for something they need? Done. $1,500 car repair? Annoying, but whatever. They're not price insensitive because they're rich. They're rich because they stop spending mental energy on price sensitivity. They don't track spending. Middle-class people meticulously track where every dollar goes. Rich people have no idea what they spent last month. Not because they're careless, because tracking has zero ROI when you're spending 40% of a passive income that replenishes automatically. They use the first option that works. Middle-class people research the best option, best credit card, best insurance, best investment platform. Rich people use whatever works and never switch. Not because they're lazy, because the 5 hours to research the best option would save them maybe $300 a year. At $330 a day passive income, that optimization costs more than it saves. They don't have financial goals anymore. Poor people have goals. Save $5,000. Middle-class people have goals. Hit $500,000 net worth. Rich people don't. Not because they're aimless, because they already hit the goal that mattered. Money is no longer a constraint. Everything after that is just a number going up. The paradox. Here's what confuses people. Rich people often look wasteful. They pay full price. They don't hunt for deals. They leave money on the table constantly. But that's not waste. That's ruthless efficiency. Because they're optimizing for something different now. Not dollars. Attention. Every time you compare prices, research options, track spending, you're spending attention. And attention is the only resource that doesn't scale. You can make more money. You can't make more attention. Rich people figured out that spending attention to save money is a bad trade once you have enough money. So they stopped. And that's the tell. How to spot it. If you want to know if someone is actually rich, don't look at what they own. Look at what they don't do. Do they compare prices? Not rich yet. Do they mention deals they got? Not rich yet. Do they track their spending? Not rich yet. Do they optimize their credit card rewards? Not rich yet. Do they have financial goals? Not rich yet. But if they pay full price without wincing, have no idea what they spent last month, use whatever option works without researching, don't have a financial plan anymore, they've crossed the line. Not because they're careless, because optimization stopped being worth it. And the second optimization stops being worth it, you're rich. The real goal. Most people are trying to look rich, so they optimize their appearance while staying broke. But the actual goal isn't to look rich. It's to stop optimizing. Because the day you can stop comparing prices, hunting for deals, tracking every dollar, maximizing every return, that's the day you're free. And freedom is the only thing money actually buys. Everything else is just the path to get there. Final thought. If you're still optimizing, you're not rich yet. And that's okay. Optimization is how you get rich. But the goal isn't to optimize forever. The goal is to optimize until you can stop. And the second you stop, everyone will think you're being wasteful. But you'll know the truth. You're not being wasteful. You just don't have to care anymore. And that's the entire point of money. If you want money advice focused on getting to the point where you can stop optimizing, that's what this channel is for. Let me know if you've started noticing this in people around you.